Hello, my name is Johnny. Welcome to another World War II 172 scale video. Today we're going to look at this diorama type terrain for wargaming. Got a Stuart tank on here and a couple of American soldiers. And I'm going to take a closer look at it. If you'd like, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, reply, share, and hype. Super thanks. Let's take a look here. Very cool. Let's take a look at it here, and then I'll talk about the piece and pick it up. See a nice tree here, and this is a Stuart. It's got the Cullen hedgerow cutter on there. Got a couple of American soldiers looking here, and he's traveling through a little like of a little bit of a pass, you might say. Not a roadway, but a little path through some rough terrain with a little hedgerow hillock there. And then pull back, you can see it's this size piece. You could use this, set this up on the shelf and use it as a diorama base, or you could use it for war game terrain, which would go on a larger mat and other pieces around it. And I've made backgrounds to stand up instead of just having a blank background or whatever else is in the room. So one of the edges you can have something where it sort of blends in. Let's take a look here. Let's pick this up and move it around a little bit. This is just on a piece of cardboard, and then I built up using more cardboard for the hillock, and I've got different types of I call it terrain dust, but you know what it is, the powder you get for putting down on the ground for like train types. And then I've got different kinds of foliage. This stuff is really neat because you pull it and you stretch it and it's soft. And then there's the lichen type. And then there's other stuff that's more like rubber. There's a little bit of flowering material, tufts you can buy. Some of those are right here, like in the middle of this pathway. And then a nice tree. And then I've got on this side is a little footpath. This one's big enough for a tank to go through, and then this one is more for putting your soldiers through it. I have some of these that are loose, that's why I'm showing them here, but if I was using a war game soldiers, I mount them on like little inch squares, so they'd have to sit in there a little bit awkwardly, but you can see you can move through here. So I really spent a lot of time thinking of line of sight, and you can see it's high enough to give cover for the soldiers. It's another type of greenery, kind of cool looking, feathery. Got some rocks in there, some stones around. Let's lift that up for a second. I've shown this book before. This is a nice die-cast M-5 Stuart 37. So that was their recon type of tank. There's a better look at the pass. And I've got some other things here. Let me just show a German vehicle. There we go. Move the Americans over to here. And that's the grill or the cricket, or sometimes they refer to as the bison. That's the 150 millimeter self-propelled gun. As you can see, this is pretty much hidden, hauled down. If you had a big Tiger tank or something, that would be hauled down and just the turret could fire over that. Let me pick it up and take these guys off here. Look at how they blend in. So I made this a while back. The only pain in the neck with these like this is storing them. Like I have like a plastic type with the drawers you can pull out, especially when you put a tree on it, makes it so much taller. The bottom's just cardboard. And then use basically white glue for most everything, except this type of material you have to use it's rubbery, and it doesn't work well with the white glue, so you have to use the super glue type of glue for it, and then you can take little pieces and build it up. There's another look at this type of material. And all of these are available at your hobby store or on eBay when you're looking under terrain for foliage, tufts, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like I said, get it under Wargaming, or you can get it under the same materials people use for their model railroad trains. So it's very cool. I like this one. I'll turn it around this way. And then this was just a piece of greenery that you get from the train type thing, and then I painted it so it would sort of a little bit blend in a little bit more with what you're doing. So it's got a nice little look to the path. Let me turn this around this way so he's coming this way. Some of them in. These were some dragon soldiers, dragon models. So that looks kind of cool. There we go, another look. So yeah, you get another look for another model. Like terrain, like I said, you can set these up for dioramas or have them and use them in wargaming and so forth. Very neat. So I thought I'd take this out and show this. Someday, if I ever get a better setup and so forth with a tripod or something, that I could show making some of the terrain pieces. I've done a video before showing a whole bunch of the terrain type in the package. Some of the same stuff is on here, and then that's on here, and then I build it up that way, so in the distance it looks kind of nice. Alright, until next time, World War II 1/72 scale. Hope you enjoyed that, and if you're so inclined, you might leave a super thanks. If you do, much appreciated. Much more to come in World War II 1/72 scale. Thanks for watching.